Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, or whatever time zone it is, whether you're in the world, it is your Lore Saviour. And yeah, you fucking read that right. Lore Metaplot does not matter. But yet, at the same time, it does. Now, has the Christmas Malkavian log gone to my head? Quite possibly. That's always a possibility. But I've had a few people ask me this question about games that they're running and their players have like deviated from the main plot or meta plot, and they've done, one thing or another, and they're doing things against the law, so to speak. And they ask for my advice on it. Now, I've done little rants on this before, but they literally have been rants at the end of particularly negative and heated book reviews, and some people may not have seen them because they're quite a while ago now, and maybe it's time to do a little bit of an update on that, just to dedicate a video of sorts to this. I mean, I could be really lazy and just like copy and paste bits over, but no, I'm going to give you a fresh perspective, or at least updated, shall we say. So, I think before we address the question at hand, is lore and metaplot important for your TTRPGs, or indeed any form of story? I think it's important to highlight the differences between the two. The lore is essentially the history, the arcana, if we use a very specific 5th edition word here. So, the events of the world, the city, how things work, how things don't work, the rules, etc. and so forth. The rules isn't like the rules of that universe rather than the game setting itself. That's a different beast altogether. Whereas the metaplot is the story that connects certain events together. So the Camarilla was formed in the middle of the 15th century, the Anarch revolt happened before then, the Second Inquisition, so on and so forth. Those sorts of things in Vampire the Masquerade would count as the metaplot. And that can tie into certain character profiles as well, when certain important characters have done this, that and the other. But if you put a microscope on said character and looked about how they got to that period in time, that would be considered that character's lore. And to an extent, both of these things are very important for your game, because it's very important for a sense of world building. So even if you have something like Vampire the Masquerade, which has like centuries upon centuries of political upheaval and intrigue and supernatural pseudo-Christian beliefs baked into its very fiction, it makes it feel some sense of believable, so players can attach onto that. They're recognisable bits, and even if there aren't, you're told how the world works, so when you go and do your own things, you can go start breaking them silly rules. And I do think that's important, that you do understand the bare basics, and in this case it would be whatever is presented in the core book of whatever it is that you're playing. So the example I gave, really like, even less than. The Camarilla is this, the Anarchs are that, the Smelly Sabbat are going and doing their own little thing over there. How vampires work, powers, those sorts of things. That to me would be the bare basics. So if you wanted to have a city, I don't know, and you found in V20 the back of the book near the appendix, the bloodlines, you said, oh, I really like the concept of the Lianon. What would that be like as a prince? And you may have no idea what their little bit of lore and history may tell. And that could provide a very interesting setting, just because it's out there, it's wacky, and that can be fun within all of itself. And, if you're with a storyteller that doesn't really know these things, and you, the players, are down for that, go have it. Go and have a laugh. Of course, there are moments in Vampire the Masquerade where weird, wacky incidents like that happen. I mean, have a look at Washington, D.C., or D.C. by night. You have a Le Sombre Prince who is masquerading as a Ventru, which is pretty scandalous in of itself. Now, there may be some people who may not actually like that, and they can change whatever they like or don't like, which you should do. You should encourage me to break the rules and experiment and have fun and come up with your own metaplot and lore for things. But I think where lore and metaplot becomes an issue is that said purists say, oh no, you can't do that because the book says this, the lore does that, blah, 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 blah. Which is where I feel that some people put me in as, which is not what I've ever wanted to be. I may question things because certain things may not make a lot of sense, and I try and connect pieces together and how that wouldn't work long term, or even with its own established writing in its particular place within its modern setting. But I've never ever been one to say you shouldn't do that because the law doesn't say that. Now, as I said, I may question things, I may present questions and answers and whatnot. There was actually somebody on my Discord server yesterday who's in I believe it was a revised play-by-post server, and they killed 2 hunters, and it made them think about that line in the beginning of Bloodlines where Jack's saying that, oh, you have to be careful with humanity sort of thing. You know, killing innocents who are like cost you humanity but defending against yourself wouldn't. Well, the rules as written really depends on the level of your humanity. If it's 7, definitely would. 6, maybe, depending on the circumstance. 5, probably not, depending on the circumstance, you know? So you may want to do, like, weird things and experiment and just, you know, allow it to be free and flowing, man. Like, an experiment and have fun with it all. Like, to use another example from my Discord server, we have a group of people that are playing on a Dark Ages game who rather sweetly all sort of properly introduced to each other after I ran a game for them. You know, I did an ad for, I believe it was a Wraith game, and they came about and they just carried on playing like a Dark Ages game together. And in their latest events, somebody fucking killed Hardestat and essentially prevented the Camarilla from even happening. Which is really cool. That character was a Salubri, and seeing their like brothers and sisters die and be murdered, and that makes a lot of personal sense. I mean, kudos to them for surviving as much, but it was really cool that the storyteller was allowing for that cool bit of character development to happen. But there's also, I know that a lot of people would have like put a stop to that because, oh no, it affects the law. I mean, granted, there may be some instances where you may want to put a foot on it, but it's really cool to see that moment happen because they just embraced their own understanding of the Lore Metaplot and they just went, fuck it. Oh, and fuck the Ventry. And of course, the Metaplot and lore for different elements of your game setting can be very useful to expanding the world and making things more natural, as I said already. Like, for example, if you're running a game in, let's say, I don't know, Chicago or New York, and you do a little search online to see what's available, Bob's Your Uncle, Fanny's Your Aunt, there's 3 different books dedicated to Chicago. Well, it's actually a bit more if you include the 5th edition ones. And there's a New York by Night book. You flip through that, you have a little overview what those cities are like within the world of darkness. 2 very different settings, admittedly. You know, find out what characters live there, and you can just pluck and pick and do whatever you please with them, and like have some semblance of a setting for your game. And if, however, you are wanting to run things like in a town or a city that isn't covered by World of Darkness, you can use these books and have a general idea about how these settings work, try and think about how they work in those cities, and take your knowledge from those books and plop them into your own setting. So that can be very useful as well. Or you could just take the whole fucking cast and just put them there as well and go, fuck it, why not? New York by night don't live here anymore, they're fucking Edinburgh by night now, and they're all going to have Scottish accents. Why? Because fuck it. Why not? It's your game, they're supposed to have fun, to be free and expressive and to do whatever the fuck you want with. Like, you're not going to have me or any other content creator you like, or the World of Darkness team just like rise on the fucking floor and like smack you across the head for breaking their rules. Absolutely not. Because that is just silly. Although if you pay me a certain amount of money, I could probably turn up to your house and fuck you, blah, 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 you know, fuck you all up. And I would cut that out. But fuck it. I'm recording this on Christmas Eve. We're embracing the city, so that's fucking staying in there now. You know, but to get back on the topic, like, it's useful as a tool, like everything else in that game, to use as much or as little as you want, really. But to say that it's all bad and it all gets in the way, nah, that's not true, mate. And I think that people who say that know that as well. I think they just don't like the culture that surrounds the conversations regarding lore and metaplot within 5th edition or older editions of Vampire or whatever World of Darkness game they're using, or maybe just in general. And past me would like harbour that point, you know, and get quite wound up about that, but nah, I'm beyond that. I'm tired of it. I don't really care, to be honest. So basically, as a recap, lore is something that, and metaplot is something that we can love and we can enjoy. You can be like me and obsess over it and really just enjoy the reading of the fiction and interpreting things, and if you're the forever GM like me, just putting bits and pieces to try and weave into your own ideas and whatnot. Like, that's all and fine. Like, that's a really fun part of these games, just expanding your knowledge and seeing how the developers are all bouncing off of each other, creating this huge whirlpool of cool ideas. Part of my criticism with the 5th edition stuff is that how it's becoming, or attempting to be a more lore agnostic sort of thing, if that's the right word, and not trying to embellish itself too much, which, you know, I've talked about before, but you know what? They can do whatever they want, doesn't bother me. I can put in as much or as little as I want, providing it's not taken away from the gameplay. And it's all just becoming fun and organic, and it's making the players feel invested with the world, and that's what it's all about. It's about making the world rich and expansive and interesting for your players. And if your players wants to come in and bring in something, like they want to be a member of the Church of Cain, and they've got these books to do it, providing it doesn't get away with the gameplay and what you want to do, let them go for it. Let them pass all your expectations and more. You know, just chat, communicate, and see what everybody's into, and just have fun. Like, if you want to be like that Dark Ages group I mentioned a while ago and like completely disrupt the formation of the Camarilla, and then try and have fun working out what happens now, go for it. You could have a really cool theme with that. I've seen a few people attempt to do like a cyberpunk setting for it. Like, the whole World of Future Darkness thing exists, and if you've got no idea what that is, you can check out the playlist that's going to appear on a card right now, where we actually explore like the semi-official like crossover between the cyberpunk universe, specifically Cyberpunk 2020, and the World of Darkness. Like, you could do stuff with that, and if you don't like it, do whatever the fuck you want with it. Like, take as much, as I said, it's all a big old massive, never expanding Pandora's box of tools you can pick and use. Like, you should be excited with all this stuff, you know? It shouldn't be a limit to your enjoyment, unless of course you want to. Like, you don't want to use X and Y. You know, I'm just going around in circles at this point. So, as this is the season to be giving, I want you to give me your favourite bit of lore or metaplot from any World of Darkness game, and your least favourite. You know, just to balance things out a little bit, you know, because we're all about balance here. Well, I try to be anyway. Or, if you're somebody that doesn't know a lot about the lore of any World of Darkness game, and you just do whatever your storyteller runs for you, which is absolutely fine, tell me your favourite gaming moment ever, or a moment where you've broken the established lore and the metaplot and having fun with it. And my jacket is getting really saucy all of a sudden. Woo! Calm down, boy. So yeah, give me all those little lovely bits of, you know, game-related stuff in the comments below. Whilst you're down there, go and check out the various books you can buy on the Storyteller's Vault to include really awesome Vampire the Masquerade content in your games. If you purchase them with those links, I get some of the money back to provide more World of Darkness and horror content for you. The good, bad, the ugly, and everything else in between. Now, I know Christmas just passed and you're thinking about the next fucking sale. That's absolutely fine, don't blame me, but I know a lot of you are going to be getting money to buy World of Darkness books, so you may as well support your Lore Saviour. But if you can't, that's absolutely fine. No hard feelings about that at all. I know time is hard and all of that, and some of you are not able to have like such a big lucrative Christmas, and that's okay. And I hope that whoever and what you are, you have been or were able to spend it with the ones that you love, whether it's family, friends, your partner, your cats, your dogs, whoever and whatever it is. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, and if you like this video, like, share and subscribe with all that I do. Again, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas day, you have a wonderful holiday season, and if it's not so far, may it improve soon. May you all have a wonderful 2025, and I'll see you on the next upload, whatever that may well be for you. And until next time, farewell.